That sounds like a Bigfoot. I'm gonna go up there and check it out. I just did a howl. It's like somebody picked up a tree and was hitting another tree. It was so loud. My name is Joe Pass, the Squatching Cowboy. Most people call me Cowboy, but I really didn't get interested into watching or Bigfooting until like 19. I think I was about 12 years old. I finally watched the Patterson Gimlin film. I was 12 years old. I'm like, wow, man, there's like one of these Bigfoot creatures roaming the United States. That's pretty cool. It's just one up there in Northern California. And then I think a couple of years later, they had Legend of Boggy Creek come out. It's in Arkansas. And I'm in Texas. And I said, golly, there's two of these creatures, and one's my next door neighbor over here. And I really didn't pay that much attention to it. I got into rodeoing, and then I discovered what girls were, and girls took over, and then later on I got married and had kids and coaching football for the kids and drove a truck for 27 years and retired because I have bad legs. And I said, well, I'm going to do this Bigfoot thing full time now. So that's what I do now, full time, to chase around the country and chase Bigfoot.
Well, tell me about some of your adventures.
I've been all the way up in the wild. I've been to 13 different states. The state that had the most interaction with would be Southeast Oklahoma. That's what turned my friend into a full blown believer. I was always believing in it, but I never really thought about it much. And my friend Kenny Collard, we was out bass fishing on a lake, and I heard something up in the woods, and I said, "Man, that sounds like a Bigfoot." And he asked me, he said, "You believe in Bigfoot?" And I said, "Well, yeah, don't you?" And he goes, "Oh, I don't know. I really never thought about it. I was not one way or the other." And I made a video of going out to Tallahena, Oklahoma, just to scout something out, to go Bigfooting up there, because it said there was a hiker up there that's hiking down the trail and seen a Bigfoot cross in front of him. I said, I'm going to go up there and check it out. So I went up there and made a video. And then about a week after the video came out, a fellow by the name of Keith Bethel called me and says, "Hey, I've got 3,500 acres up there just north of Tallahena. It's private land, and nobody comes on it but me and my dad, and cousins, family stuff come up there." But he says, when I was 14 or 15 or something like that, he had encountered with the Bigfoot. He says, "Why don't y'all come on up here and y'all have free run of all the land?" So we did that, and the first night we was there, uh, Kenny and went down the creek to set out some trail cams. And he come back, and I went down, took the side by side, went down, trying to find these three really heavy footsteps out in the trees. And it was dark this time. There's no lights in that side by side. And I got the heck out of there. It scared the crap out of me. And I got back and I told Kenny that. And Kenny said, "Well, that's funny because I heard something running up the side of the hill from where he said the trail came. We never did see it. But later that night, it got real boring. And I said, I'm going to see if I can get some coyotes stirred up or something. So I just did just a howl. Sure enough, the coyotes started barking and yipping, and they settled down. And about 30 minutes later, it's creepy because the howl that I did, there was something almost like it just up on the hill across from us. And the coyotes started yapping again. And they stopped. And then we heard 10. I mean, it's like somebody picked up a tree and was hitting another tree. It was so loud, and you could feel it like rumbling the ground. It was 10 hit tree knocks. And I'm not big on tree knocks. They say Bigfoot does it, but I've never seen a Bigfoot do that. I've never seen a Bigfoot say the truth. And that night changed Kenny's attitude about Bigfoot. It was funny. I didn't feel threatened about it. I felt like it was just like letting us know that they were there, not to mess with them, you know. We stayed up the rest of the night with pistols by our side, afraid to go to sleep because we didn't know what the heck that was. And there wasn't nobody else up there. There's nobody around for 16 miles except for Keith, but she lives about a mile away. And we had his side by side. He's got a bad hip, so he can't walk up there and do it. And his dad goes to bed with the chickens. It wasn't his dad doing it either. So that kind of changed our mind about the Bigfoot thing. But Southeast Oklahoma is my hot spot.
And did you have any other experiences, or was that the only experience you've had in that area?
We've been up there 3, 4 different times, and every time we've had something going on, whether it be some strange howls. One night we heard just a rah sound, you know, and I found 4 little bitty footprints in a creek bed up there. It's mostly rock, so you're not going to find any tracks up there unless you get down around the creeks. And we found, well, I found 4 little footprints. They're about 6 inches long, and it's all on video. The tracks in the creek, and so I think it was a juvenile. And they don't have kids down there, so I don't know who it would be up in there, but you know, a juvenile Bigfoot.
So
Man,
do you plan to go back into that area?
I go to Southeast Oklahoma all the time. Well, I just haven't been to Keith's places. People message me all the time, say, "Hey, you ought to check out this place, or you ought to check out that place." And so I travel around a lot by what people, you know, send me emails and stuff like that. And they ought to check out this, check out that. And that's usually what I do. But we were down at, excuse me, my wife and I were down at Fairfield Lake here, Texas, which is just about 30 minutes southwest of where I'm at. And a buddy of mine, which he doesn't believe in Bigfoot, he thinks it's all a big joke. He thinks I'm stupid for doing this. But he said him and his buddy were up in this cove in this lake fishing. There was this big old down tree up there on the bank. He said there was something big and black, looked like it was sticking its head up over the top of this log, and it has like arms over the top of it. And he said, "Oh, look, there's a Bigfoot." And they just left it off. And they went on down and fished, and they came back about an hour later, and that thing was gone. Whatever it was on that log. So I thought it was a Bigfoot. There's been Bigfoot, people saying there's Bigfoot down there. And me and my wife went down there, spent the night down there, and she found 5 footprints. It's hard to say because it's in the gravel. Like there's a gravel road there, and there's a little dip in it where the water runs down. She found 5 tracks, and they were old, on the side of the road. And then up the embankment, there was a track. This is all on video. And there was a barbed wire fence up there that had been pushed down, and something looked like it reached up there and grabbed this limb to step over the barbed wire fence and broke the limb off. And I think that was pretty exciting. We go back down there every time we can. We always hear something down there. It's
Well, there have been
crazy.
other reports from those 2 locations, the one in Southeast Oklahoma and the one in Texas. Have you heard of other people seeing things in those areas?
Yes, I don't know if you know, but Honubi, they have the Bigfoot festival down there every year. It won't be this year because they canceled it because of money arrangements, I guess. But it's known as Area X, where they supposedly um, had a Bigfoot massacre back there back in the day, a big long time ago. A bunch of people killed a bunch of Bigfoots down there on Area X. But there's people down there that go up there every weekend looking for Bigfoot up there. usually around Honubi, but I go to Talahena because of my friend's place. He's got 3,500 privately owned acres, and nobody else is around in there, So I go up there. But there's several places I go in Southeast Oklahoma. I've always had something that I can't explain happen, whether
Like
it
what?
be
Tell
whether
me
it
like
be
what?
like howls or Kenny, my friend I used to go with. He heard we stopped side by side one time when we got off and was looking off the side of the mountain, and he hears something that sounded like a gorilla beating his chest. I imagine you've heard that before.
Hmm.
People saying that it beats their chest, and he heard that. And we sat up there in total darkness for about 4 hours and just listened to all the crazy noises down in the valley on the side of this mountain. It was pretty interesting. And
So
then we
where
went out
else,
to that. Go ahead.
where else have you gone besides that area?
We've been to Louisiana at the Kisatchie National Forest, which we've heard tree knocks down there. And like I said, I'm not a big believer in the tree knocks, but I asked myself, what else could it be? It couldn't be a bear because a bear can't grab a limb and hit a tree. And people say it could be a Bigfoot, popping its mouth. Now that could be, but what we heard up in Oklahoma was tree knocks. And we've been down to Alabama. You've probably heard of this guy, Flat Rock Booger. You ever heard of
Yes.
him?
Yes.
We went down there to his place and we stayed, I think it was 4 days down there, 3 or 4 days. And my wife went with us, and she goes with me a lot. She was kind of like Kenny was, kind of on the fence about it. But I think it was the last night we was there, everybody went to bed, and Joe Parker and Pat Harrison were on the tent next to us, and Ken Flatrock went into the house and went to bed. And I guess, I don't know, we didn't see what time it was. It was about 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, what I guess, because we all went to bed about midnight. And we heard this sound down by this creek that seemed like it lasted forever, like an opera singer. You know how long an opera singer can howl? I mean, sing, hold, carry their breath. This thing seemed like it went on for 2 or 3 minutes, just howling. And it was loud, and it was probably about 100 yards from us, but we could hear it just plain as day. And everybody started waking up around there listening to this howl in Alabama. And that changed my wife's mind. She's a full blown believer now because she says that nobody could do that. No human could holler like that.
I've heard that before, that the ability for them to hold a sound or project a sound for such an extended period of time that was certainly not human, and don't know of any other animal or creature out there that can do it for that long.
It had to have something with big lungs because it just lasted forever. And we're sitting there talking back and forth while this thing's still carrying on. And
Right, exactly.
none of us recorded it. We was just all amazed at the sound that was coming from down by the creek. And it was a low, what they call it, guttery sound, but it just lasted forever, it seemed like.
Now that was in Louisiana,
That was Alabama, that Flat Rock
Alabama.
Booger's place.
Okay, yeah. So where else have you gone? You said you've gone to 13 states looking for this. You've been to Texas, Oklahoma, Alabama, and Louisiana. Mm-hmm.
I just got back from Arkansas. This is the second time I've been to Arkansas. And it was so freaking cold up there. It never got over 37 degrees. At nights, it was down in the lower 20s. I mean, I'm still thawing out right now. That's the coldest I've ever went camping, I think. And I think it was pretty eventful. I mean, I don't want. When is this going to be put out?
Oh, it'll probably be down the road a ways. I think we have 8 or more before you, so it'll be a while.
I just don't want to give away the ending of the video. That's what I'm saying.
No.
My next video comes out next Wednesday. Part 2 of that Arkansas video comes out next Wednesday.
This will definitely be after that.
Okay. Uh, Didn't see any kind of evidence whatsoever of Bigfoot, but I didn't stay out as long as I wanted to because of the cold. And my wife got sick while she was up there. So anyway, it was a good trip. The first trip we had up there, uh, I had put out a recorder and I had one of the little pocket recorders, and I had that was about a 2 foot long corded mic on it. And I hung it up in a tree and wrapped the cord with the microphone around the limb behind our campsite and turned it on for the night. The next day I went out there and the recorder was gone. Whatever it was had to unwrap that cord from that tree limb to get that recorder off the tree. Now,
That would
was it a
take some.
Bigfoot? Was it a
Mhm.
Bigfoot? I don't know.
Would have to be a Bigfoot or probably a person in order to have the dexterity to accomplish that, right?
Right. And there wasn't we camped on a dead end road. There wasn't nobody around us. I mean, we could see forever if anybody came up that road. A great place to camp too. Beautiful mountains up in there. It's a really nice place. And I've been to uh, Kansas, Nebraska, South Dakota, Wyoming, and that's it. I'm trying to
Quite
think.
a few, that's quite a few states. So did you find any evidence or any kind of experience in any of the other states?
South Dakota was really interesting because I was walking. We stopped. I just went to this national park. And I seen this not small trail, but trail just went off the road up into the side of the mountains. And I took off walking up in there. I hear something in the woods, and I don't know what the bear population is up there. So I was kind of creeped out about the bears, and I've always heard about mountain lions being up there. So I was kind of creeped out about bears or mountain lions, but I kept hearing something off to the right of me. There was a hill. I kept hearing something up the right side of me up the hill, and I kept hearing this. It sounded like a bird, but it sounded like a mechanical bird or something. I don't know. It was just a weird noise. It didn't sound like a regular old bird. But as far as Wyoming, no, I didn't. We didn't stay there that long. South Dakota, we camped out down there at the close to Custer's National Park or whatever it is. I think it's called Custer's. Anyway, I haven't got any action like I did in southeast Oklahoma, Louisiana, and Alabama. That's where I've had most of
You found
I
any
guess you could say.
structures? Have you found any of the structures or anything like that in those areas?
Yes, I have, and I'm not a big believer in the structures, but because I've never seen a Bigfoot do it. There's nobody ever seen Bigfoot on film doing it. I'm not saying they can't do it, but I found some structures out in the woods that I just can't explain. People say, "Oh, it's like a deer blind or something." Up in Oklahoma, I've hiked about, I guess it was about a mile down the side of this mountain range, and I come across these two trees that are stacked up parallel to each other like this, and there's a big dead one laid across the top of it, and a bunch of little ones. Not a bunch, but 4 little ones, stacked down across it. That doesn't look like any kind of shelter to me because if there was a shelter, they would have covered it more. I think was more like a symbol or something. And they deer hunt up there 2 weeks out of a year. And this is way the hell on the side of a mountain. And I don't think they're up in there deer hunt where I was. And then in Arkansas, I found I'm not sure you call it a structure or not, but there was a log, a tree leaning diagonally across the tree and had like an X on it. And I don't believe there's one guy that swears up and down that Bigfoot does the X's. I don't believe that. They say because it's marking his territory. The way I think about it, if something is going to hide its existence, stay hidden, why would it mark its territory? If I'm out in the woods and I see an X and I know that means that there's Bigfoot out there, that's Bigfoot's property, I'm going on it. You know, goes, oh, that's an X, Bigfoot's property. I'm not going back there. You know, that's just the way I think. I'm a no BS kind of guy. I don't take pictures of dark spots in the bushes and draw a little red circle around them and tell you where it's at. If I do see a dark spot in a bush, I will walk up to it. I'll get closer, throw something at it. If it moves, then I know I got something. If it doesn't move, it's just paranoia. And a burnt tree stump. And matter of fact, in several of my videos, you can see that I've taken pictures of tree stumps that look just like a Bigfoot or the shape of a Bigfoot, like peeking out behind a tree. And I go up there and show everybody that not everything that you see in the woods is a Bigfoot. If you can't see it, at least the silhouette of a Bigfoot in one of my pictures, I don't post it and say anything about it. Because if you can't tell it's a Bigfoot by just looking at it, you know. Now, I hate the people that take a picture of a dark spot in the bush, try to tell me it's a Bigfoot, and then never investigate, never come out the next day at the same time, see if it's still there. You know, I can understand you don't want to walk up on it, but at least come back the next day and take a picture of the same spot and see if that thing is there.
That's a good point.
You
So
know,
you probably heard the Sierra sounds.
oh yeah,
Heard anything? Have you heard anything in all those vocals that you've been around that sounds anything like the Sierra sound?
not like all of the Sierra sounds, you know, because a lot of it sounds like that, you know, that samurai chatter. But some of the grunts and the littler stuff that they do in there, kind of, but not nothing to that extent. That's just crazy. I don't know what I'd do if I heard woods. That's crazy stuff there.
Yeah, it is, quite amazing. Some people say they see like lights and orbs and things like that around in the woods around where Bigfoot might be. Have you seen any of those?
I haven't seen any, but I have it. I can send you the picture if you want me to. I have a trail cam set up here in Oklahoma, a friend's place up in Oklahoma, and it's pointing across the logging road. And where they cleared out across the logging road, there's a big old, where they knocked down the trees. And I almost didn't notice this until I just got to looking. I said, "What is that?" There is a round. I wish you could see it. Can you see me?
Yeah, I can see you.
I'm not saying I could. There was a round dot on the picture I got. There's a round dot up in like the right hand corner right there. It's coming. It looks like it's coming at the trail cam. It just was on picture, so it wasn't video. And I've got that thing and enhanced it. And when you got Bigfoot on the brain, everything's Bigfoot, right? It looks like there's a face in that round spot, but it's just a round spot. And I've sent to, I don't know, 20, 30 people, and nobody can explain, but it's a brown dot. Some people say it's an orb, but it had to be something to set that game cam off, you know. Some people say that a Bigfoot was throwing a rock at the camera. I had one person tell me it was Bernie Sanders, but I'll send you the picture and let's see if you can tell me what it is.
Okay, sounds good. I'd love to see it. Absolutely.
And it's got the timestamp on it. It's a Tasco trail cam, and I mean nothing's edited out of it. It's just a picture of a brown spot. But I enhanced it and turned it white. It looked like there's a face in there, but I don't know.
Do people give you information about sightings they have seen or encounters they've had?
Yes, all the time.
So are there any of those that you could share with me?
Oh, like say the one up in Tallahena, he contacted me, came up there. It was funniest thing. Can I tell you how he described the Bigfoot?
Sure.
He said he was like 14 or 15 years old, riding his four-wheeler out down the logger road. And he said this thing, he didn't know nothing about Bigfoot. He said this thing come out of the creek, walked across the logger road, then walked up the hill. But he said when he went over and checked it out, the footprints, he said this is exact words. He said it looked like somebody got a poodle, dipped it in water, and then slammed it on the ground where the footprints were. And he said that thing went upside the hill, and he jumped off his four-wheeler, had a single shot 410. He said he started going up the side of the mountain like this. He said, "What in the hell am I doing chasing this thing with a single shot 410?" So he jumped on his four-wheeler and headed back to the house, and he was scared to death. He wouldn't come out the rest of the day. And when we was up there, he didn't like coming out there at night. When we was camping, he'd go back to the house. Dark.
I don't blame
So,
him. It's kind of scary.
and we got another plan on going back up there here pretty soon. So I'm gonna wait till it warms up a little bit because I ain't going through what I did last week again.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
too old for that.
it's even colder now. So yeah, I can appreciate that. So any
Yeah.
other stories that people have told you about?
Oh, well, Sam Houston, some guy, Sam Houston National Forest. I don't know if you heard about that. That's a pretty big place where they have sightings. Some guy emailed me and told me that I should go check out. He gave me the name of the forest road. I can't remember what it was. He said I should go check out by Stubblefield Lake. He was out setting up deer cams or trail cams for deer hunting. And he says he thought he seen something run across a little creek down there. And he told me there's all kinds of sites down around Stubblefield Lake. And he told me I should go down there and check that out. And of course, Flat Rock Booger contacted me and told me that I should come down to his place. Uh, there's one guy that contacted me to go down to kind of like southeast Texas, Nacogdoches way. He said he had a family of Bigfoot living on his land. And he was on what was it? Bigfoot Odyssey, Kerry Arnold. He was on there, and then he contacted Kerry Arnold, told him to contact me because I was close to where he lived. He contacted me and told me all about it. We set up a date. I was going to come down there. I called him the day before, and he never answered his phone. He wouldn't answer my emails. If I get him on Facebook, he deleted his Facebook account. So I kind of think that he was hoaxing the whole thing. And I went down there anyway because Nacogdoches is known for has a lot of Bigfoot things too.
For
But
sure.
I think he was just hoaxing Bigfoot because after I said I was coming down there, I never could get a hold of him again.
Yeah. Well, what do you think what do you think Bigfoot is?
Flesh and blood, flesh and blood, more human-like than animal-like. And down here in Texas, I don't think, or Texas and the South, I don't think that they are as big as they are up north. I think they might be 7 to 8 feet tall max, 6 to 8 feet tall max. I don't think they're covered with hair like they are up north because I couldn't see a hairy creature like that living in 120-degree weather down in the swamps. I think they're smaller down here. Plus, they don't have mountains to climb up, and they don't have to be protected from the snow like they do up north. I just think the ones up north are bigger than the ones down.
Well, a lot of the ones reported down in Florida are slender and not as big.
Right,
So,
right.
yeah.
And
So
I'm
I think
planning on going down to Florida too to do the skunk ape thing.
So a lot of reports down that way. I talked to a lot of people from that Florida area and Oklahoma too. Few in Texas, but Arkansas, Oklahoma, Florida, all down through there. It seems to be quite a large number of people looking for them and also finding some evidence of them.
Oh yeah, there's all Jefferson, Texas down here. It's the Bigfoot capital of Texas, and down around Cattle Lake and stuff. It's just supposedly full of them. The Bean River was Oklahoma, was southeast Oklahoma. I believe this is what I believe that a Bigfoot can travel from southeast Oklahoma, go all the way down to the bottom of Louisiana, and never be seen. It's just that wooded all the way down through the big thickets. And I think that they cross from like Sam Houston National Forest. They go through David Crockett National Forest, Angelina National Forest, the Big Thicket, and then into Louisiana, Kisatchie. And then once they get down there, they go down south. You know, it's woods and swamps all the way through there. So they could
Exactly.
easily walk through there and not be seen.
So how far are you from Falk, Arkansas?
It takes me about 3 hours.
Okay, so a good little distance, but yeah, I've heard the same thing in that whole corridor there with Arkansas, Oklahoma, down through
Right.
Louisiana, that there's a lot of swampy area, a lot of thicket in there, and easy for them to hide and move.
Yeah. Like I said, I just came from Arkansas, the Ouachita Mountains. Another one, the Ouachita Mountains goes from east Arkansas all the way over to like the central part of Oklahoma. Easy pathway to go back and forth through. And speaking of Falk, Arkansas, me and Keith Crabtree, you know Keith Crabtree?
Yes.
Me and him are real good friends too. And I've been up in there in his area too, looking around.
Yeah, he
And
was on the show once.
he's a good guy, man. He's a really good guy. And most of the places that around Boggy Creek are privately owned land and really hard to get on nowadays. So you can't really go down Boggy Creek unless you go down to I think it's Mercer's Bayou. That's a good Bigfoot spot too. And there's supposed to be a bunch of ghosts down there too. But I don't want to get into that.
Have you seen a ghost?
Yes,
Oh wow, well tell me about that.
my grandpa. And this was a few years after he died. I was sitting in my bed, and he always worked. He was a rodeo cowboy. He was a real working rodeo cowboy. And I was laying in my bed one night, and the door opened, and there was a silhouette of him with his cowboy hat on, and just like he was checking on me, see if I was all right. And that was it.
Did
And
he
then
just disappear or shut the
yeah,
door
he just
again?
disappeared. He just disappeared.
Disappeared, yeah.
And my son said he did the same thing with my dad. He said they were out here playing in the front yard, and my dad had been dead for I don't know a few years. And he said that he looked up at the house and seen my dad looking through the window at him, waving at him. Oh, that's pretty weird too.
Yeah, it's a fairly common thing for people to see something like that, though. I hear it more often than not, that people have had some type of an experience like that.
I mean, I wasn't scared because I knew who it was.
Hmm.
It was my grandpa, and it couldn't have been anybody else because he was like 6'7". He was a big guy.
Exactly. Well, what else can you tell me about Bigfoot?
What do you want to know? I, I kind of always kind of tiptoe around the subject because a lot of people get mad at me for some of the stuff I say about, you know, portals and being aliens and stuff like that. And I don't believe in the portals. People say, well, what do they do with their dead? I think they bury their dead. And if it's like a rogue Bigfoot, I believe I've been around animals all my life, cows and horses and dogs, cats and whatever. And when one's about to die, they try to go back to the as far as that way they can from the house and a dark place or whatever. I think a rogue Bigfoot would go find a place like that and die where they know it wouldn't be easy to find. And there's a video out on YouTube that people can watch. People don't understand it, that they tied a dead deer down to the ground, staked it out with wires and everything so they could carry it off. And within a month, that deer was totally gone, bones and all. So people say, well, where's the bones? Well, they disappeared just like anything else, you know. I tell people
I've
to go
heard that
watch that video.
before. Yeah. I've heard that before with bear and deer and other things that it just doesn't take long for everything to be consumed by something.
Right, especially, you know, up like in the northwestern part of the country where it's rainforest, you know, and stuff like that all the time. I think bones wouldn't last very long at all up there.
Probably not. Well, I
Have you
really
ever, let me ask you, have you ever seen a Bigfoot?
Oh no, I've never seen a Bigfoot. We're doing a docu-series where we're looking in areas that Bigfoot has been known to be seen and also be heard. So we're looking as hard as we can. That should be released sometime in 2024.
Where are you at now?
Springfield, Missouri is where I live.
Oh,
Southern Missouri.
I love Springfield. I used to stop in there all the time. I used to drive a truck and stop there at the hotel room all the time.
Yeah,
Nice place.
it's a nice place to live. I like living in the Midwest and it's comfortable here.
It's a college town, but it's all right town.
Yeah, it definitely is. Well, I'm going to go ahead and end our interview today. I really super appreciate everything you shared with me, and thanks for coming on. And I'll let you know when this airs. I'll make sure it's definitely after the 10th.
All right, I appreciate you. Man, like I say, you surprised me. I'm like, why you want to talk to me? I didn't know. I didn't know if
I
you were, you know, one of the people that deny Bigfoot's out there, or you know, or whatever. But thanks for having me
no,
on. And
I pretty much let people tell their story. I try not to interfere with that and let it stand for itself with each individual. So
well, some people they get really mad if you say something that they don't like the portal thing. I don't believe in the portals. I don't believe they're aliens. I think they're just flesh and blood, like they're just almost human. You know, that's just my point of view. I have to say that in my opinion,
right.
or I'll get hate mail.
That clears a lot up when, in my opinion, does a lot for any statement that you make. I have to agree with that. Yeah.
And just tell everybody, go check out my channel. I think they'll like it. Like I said, I don't BS anybody around. I don't tell anybody lies. I tell people what I think about this. If I find something, I document everything I find.
Exactly.
All the tracks, I have pictures of them. And sometimes people ask me, well, how come you only find like one track? Well, I found more than one track. I found 10 tracks in a row and they disappear. I don't know how, but who knows?
Yeah, I've heard that before too. They're just kind of gone. Yeah, there's no explanation for some things sometimes. So
And then some people say, well, what about how come we haven't found any Bigfoot bones yet? I did a video on this too. How in the world do you know what a Bigfoot bone looks like? Nobody's ever found one. I walk around find bones in the woods all the time. I don't know if it's a Bigfoot bone. It could be a cow bone or coyote or it should be big, but I don't know what a Bigfoot bone looks like.
right, yeah, it would be hard to know because as far as we know, there hasn't been one found yet.
I think there's enough evidence out there to prove they're real, but I hate to say this. It's going to take a body for them to really
Yeah,
realize that they're real.
it will
And
probably take.
I
Yeah,
would not kill one. I'm not
yeah,
in. I just want to see one for myself. And if I have a video camera, I just want to share it with everybody else. And I've had people get on to me for saying, "Why are you telling your location? Don't be doing that." I'm like, well, if I see one, I want somebody else come out here. Maybe they might get a chance to see one. No, I don't. don't like people just trying to hog all the stuff. I want everybody to see it. You know, I want to share it.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you doing that for sure. And if you get any information, be sure and just let us all know about it. And I'm sure you will.
I will.
Okay.
I plan on going back down to Sam Houston pretty soon, and then we're going. The wife wants to go up to Smoky Mountains, so we'll be going up there in a few months or so. But I'll let you know something.
Okay. Appreciate it. We'll talk
Thank
soon.
you.